Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What a game. What a game. That's thus far the game of the year. The Wings and Storm delivered an absolute friggin' classic tonight. I don't even know where to begin. I don't even what the heck. The thing is this game had it all, especially from all the players that you really want to see these great games from. Well, maybe not Enrique actually, now that I'm looking at the box score. But this game had it all, dude. AZ Fudd had an absolute magnet going. I think she started out 8 for 9 from the field. The mid-range jump shot was falling at an insane clip, and she only shot 2 for 5 from 3 from tonight. But we know what her elite 3 ball opens up for her ability to drive it and take it into the mid-range. And then she had the game winning or go ahead layup at the end there. AZ had it going, especially in the first half. And then in that fourth quarter, Paige had been fairly silent, fairly kept in check. The shot wasn't falling. They were D'ing her up. And I was wondering, like, if Paige is going to take these shots at the end of the game. Of course, this is Paige Bueckers. She is capable of making these shots. Is she just going to brick these and the Seattle Storm are going to end up winning this? But no, Paige Bueckers comes to life in the fourth quarter, hits two huge threes, hits the jump shot to send, and I think she had 8 points 8 points in the fourth quarter. And I think, what was it? She only had 10 points at the start of the fourth quarter, and she ends the night with 27 points. So in the fourth quarter and overtime, she has 17 points. That's crazy. That's absolutely nuts. That's bonkers. And this reminds me of, and if you listen to Player's Choice, Chilltown says this moniker occasionally, where it's like, if you're the best player, just keep the game close, just keep it close, and I'll finish it. And that was legit what we saw from Paige tonight, where it was nothing too crazy. For the first three quarters, you're wondering where she is. Is she gonna take us home? She brings it home. This is a legit superstar moment in her career. I don't know where this ranks in terms of Paige's WNBA moments. Of course, we know she has the uber efficient 40 plus game last year against the Los Angeles Sparks. But this one, where this game is in the balance, time in and time out. 8 points in the fourth quarter, and then however much in overtime to finish it out, where they and the Wings and the Storm were just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. No team was budging. No team was giving an edge. And you also got the Seattle Storm. They had really, really great late game execution offensively, at different points of the season, or at a lot of points in the season, have not been a fan of the Seattle Storm and their offense and their, I'm not even sure, offensive process at times. And, this, of course, the personnel isn't fantastic. They're 3-15 for a reason. However, we saw Natisha Heidemann, we saw Zaya Cook, we saw Alafam, we saw Dominique Malonga absolutely tearing it up at different moments. Zaya Cook had that crazy layup near the end of, I forget. Everything is blurring together right now. But Zaya Cook had a really crazy transition layup take, whereas she did not have numbers, had Paige in front of her, and the Dallas numbers were, I mean, they were there and they weren't exactly surrounding her, but it's like, you don't have numbers here. You shouldn't take this layup. But she decides to take it. She banks it in. Alafam, at different moments in this game, hit huge threes. I think, she was 3 for 4 from 3 in this one? No, Alafam was 4 for 5 from 3 on 18 points, 4 for 5 from 3. Had 3 blocks, and one of those blocks included that late game block on Paige Bueckers' layup attempt, and that block set up what would eventually be the AZ Fudd go-ahead layup. And of course, one of the things that Seattle, lacks, or you worry about them having right now, even for the development of their team, is they don't have a true point guard that will table set and get the ball to their bigs in advantageous positions, like, consistently. And I thought Natisha Heidemann did a really great job of doing that tonight, especially delivering the ball to Dom Malonga whenever they had mismatches or smaller players switched onto her. She would just get it to her at will, and Damalonga was automatic on those mismatched layups. She'd go up for the layup, and those smaller defenders, she does not see them. And I was really impressed with Natisha Heidemann throughout the bulk of this game. 21 points, 11 assists, and took big shot after big shot in the fourth quarter and overtime also. Hit that 3-point shot over Leroux. And that put them up. I forget what that put them up. Like what? 6? 7? No. Flage. You're also seeing Flage throughout the point of this season where she's improving her passing, playmaking reps. She had 9 assists, even if she didn't shoot the ball that well, 3 for 9 from the field. But you like what you see from her growing as a playmaker. You like what you see from her defensively, as you know she had the Paige assignment. And for 3/4 of the game, she was sticking with her and doing a dang good job of it. At the end of the day, Paige Bueckers is Paige Bueckers, and she does superstar stuff. And you're going to have to live with that and shake her hand. But she was great. Zia Cook off the bench with 18 points. Zia Cook, I've been impressed because at different points, you never know, she could catch a flamethrower. She's unafraid of the moment, unafraid of some very courageous takes. And we saw that with that layup attempt in transition at the end there. At different points, pull-up jumpers, threes. Like, if the Seattle Storm had won this game, there would have been a plethora of different players and a plethora of different heroes that you could point to and say, you won this game for us. Of course, Don Malonga had the absolute crazy 37-12 game, but you would have been impressed with Alafam, Natisha Heidemann, Zia Cook, and Flage Johnson for defense. And they were going band for band, shot for shot, an absolute shootout, a 112-110 game. But the Dallas Wings end up on top and victorious because of the heroics of Paige Bueckers. Legit superstar stuff. You keep the game close and I'm going to finish it. So you got to give a shout out there. Also shout out to Awak Kuir, who was crucial for the stop in regulation on Dom's layup attempt. And then Dom was deterred in the overtime take as she tried to drop it off to, was it Zia Cook? And then Paige stole the ball there. Maybe if it wasn't the loudest game, still, when the defense needed a stop, she was subbed in and she did her job. Oh, also Isaiah James. I can't believe I forgot about Isaiah James. Because Isaiah James also came in and was a really good disruptor, offensively and defensively. Offensively, had 18 points on 7 for 11 shooting, and also hit some really big shots in that fourth quarter and overtime, where obviously a lot of the attention is going to Paige and AZ, where she can get the screen, get a little separation, pull up for a mid-range jump shot, and at different points she hit that like free throw line jumper, which were really big as, once again, they only won by 2 points, and she was disruptive defensively. I think she got a hand in there. I think she was one who got a hand in there for the initial inbound for the Storm first game winner attempt. And we know what she can be as a spark plug scorer off the bench. Defensively, what she is doing should not go unnoticed as she is disruptive. So shout out to Isaiah, shout out to AZ, shout out to Paige. And AZ is a good defender, man. Like, AZ do be kind of locking in on defense. She kind of nice with it. Kind of crazy. There were some other games. I didn't quite catch all of the others in their entirety because there were a bunch of other games going on at the same time, and I don't have the craziest monitor set up. So I'll just touch on stuff a bit, because that game, the Dallas Wings and Seattle Storm game, I think that should get the bulk of my attention because that was an amazing game, man. Back and forth, amazing. First off, the Connecticut Sun, they whooped on the Chicago Sky. There's no way the Chicago Sky scored 63 points in a game versus the Connecticut Sun. And there's no way the Connecticut Sun put up 92 points on the Chicago Sky. The Chicago Sky are an extremely, extremely unserious team. And I already talked about it in my previous video because things are cooked for the Chicago Sky there. But you lost by dang near 30 to the worst team in the league? Come on, man. Come on, man. That's a tough look. That is tough. That spacing is rough. Camilla foul trouble. Also, shout out to BG. I think she became the all-time blocks leader tonight. Yeah, shout out to BG for that. The Atlanta Dream take care of business against the Toronto Tempo. And we saw, especially in that first quarter, where Atlanta won the first quarter 33-15. Atlanta's defense just came out the jump. Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray started out killing it on defense. Gray had 5 steals in this one, forcing a bunch of turnovers. Okada, big game off the bench with 18 on 7 for 9 shooting. Truthfully, I'm gonna have to watch this game back because I think this is probably the game that I caught the least of. So I'll have to catch this game back. I will. But just looking at the box score, shout out to Jordan Canada for 11 points and 13 assists with 2 turnovers. And I think it's funny because going into this season, I heard a lot of chatter from the Atlanta Dream fans. They were not the happiest about Jordan Canada on their team for the prospects, or as the starting point guard for their prospects of winning a championship, because they were worried about Jordan Canada maybe trying to do too much, Jordan Canada not being the greatest of table setters, of facilitators. And I think this year, and I think some of her haters have acknowledged that she's looking different. She's looking to facilitate more, to get the ball to others more. She's recognizing that while she can have really good takes to the hole, for this team maybe to reach the level that they want it to, Jordan Canada needs to be a really, really good facilitator, and she is taking the steps to make that a reality. So shout out to Jordan Canada, because 11 and 13 is never anything to scoff at. The Mercury and the Fever, that first quarter, I thought we were in for a disaster. I thought I was about to make a what's going on with Indiana Fever video, because they had 3 points for the bulk of that first quarter. They almost got outscored in that first quarter, 19-3. I think, what was it? Alexi Hull 3, like dang near at the start of the game, and then a Kelsey Mitchell 3 to end the quarter. They were almost down 19-3, almost had 3 points in a quarter of a game in the big 2-6. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Am I good? Whoa, what the heck happened there? Where was I? Oh yeah, the Phoenix Mercury. They suck. They just have a lot of flaws. They don't have enough creation. They don't have enough juice. They don't have enough defense. They don't have a lot of things. So it was funny to see that they were down 19-6 at the end of the first quarter, and then the Fever came out and blitzed them in the second quarter. Caitlin Clark looked amazing in that second quarter. Hit those signature, like, logo, super deep threes. They put up 35 in the quarter, and basically they got themselves back into the game and tied it up before the end of halftime. Oh yeah, and also Kelsey Mitchell took over in that third quarter. And then they also had a scuffle. That was cool, I guess. But yeah, a fairly good slate of games tonight ended off with the game of the year. I have to watch this whole game back in its entirety, bro. Because I wasn't completely locked in the whole way through this game. I need to rewatch that first half, especially. Because, of course, I locked in when the second half hit. But they were going band for band. Paige Bueckers had a superstar moment. That's so cool. That's so cool. She's so cool.